This video is going to be a little bit different from the other videos that I have recorded. In this video, there will be two of us are going to be working, all right? You that is watching. Two of us are going to be working. So the things that I'm doing, you'll be doing that. Or the things that I'm saying, you'll be doing that as well. And this is a recorded video. It's not live. So you can always pause, do the things, and then you return and continue from where you start, right? So the topic is how to break a bad habit and replace that bad habit with a good one. How to break a bad habit and replace the bad habit with a good one. Let me start by saying that we all have habits, all right? We all have the way we do things. We all have what we call our routines, right? When we wake up, what we do when we have woken up, the path we take to school or to work, the places we love to go, the things that we love to eat. We have our way of doing things, the books that we love to read, and all of that. These are habits that we have built over years or months, right? And they have become part of us. Initially, habits are external, right? You are you, and the habits is the habits. But with time, you and your habits become one. Your habits rather become one. All right, the things you do now define you. Your routine define you to the point where people outside will give you a name that is related to the habits, right, that you engage in. So with time, our habits actually become us, or we become our habits with time. So when you find a habit that is undesirable, that is bad, you should desire to change it. You should desire to replace it with a desirable one, with a good one. Okay, all right. So let's get into the video. Firstly, let's define what a habit is. All right. According to the American Heritage Dictionary, habit is a recurrent, often unconscious pattern of behavior that is acquired through frequent repetition. All right, a recurrent, often unconscious pattern of behavior that is acquired through frequent repetition. It is an established disposition of the mind or character. So it is recurrent, all right? Often it is unconscious, a pattern, right? And the third point there is that it is acquired through frequent repetition. So whether it is the bad habits that we want to break or the good one that we want to build, these are recurrent and they get to a point where they become unconscious, all right? They become a pattern that you don't need to consciously, think about them to engage in them. They just happen at the level of the subconscious, minds. And then they are acquired through frequent repetition. So this already tells you something, that the bad habits you built it because you repeated something over time. And so it got to a point where it became unconscious and now it is recurrent. And the good one that you want to build has to follow the same route. That is, you have to do it over some time to the point where it gets to the subconscious level. You do it unconsciously and it becomes recurrent in your life, right? Okay. So the first thing that I want you to do is this. The first tip is this. I want you to pick a clean sheet of paper. Pick a clean paper, all right? Like this. Okay? And do with me what I'm going to do. The first one is this. Write down all the bad habits you want to break, or the bad habits, if it is one. Write down the bad habits you want to break, or all the bad habits you want to break. Okay? Put them on paper. Okay? Instead of thinking about them in your mind, write them down. Write down all the bad habits you want to break. Okay? All right. Not to elongate the video, I'm just going to go ahead. All right, but you can pause the video and then you do that. Okay, so that is 1A. Now 1B is write down the good habits that you want to build. All right, the first one is write down the bad habits that you want to break. Now 1B is write down the good habits that you want to build. All right, what are the replacements of those bad habits? Okay, let's say that the bad habits I want to break is to stop eating unhealthy meals. All right, unhealthy diets, that is the bad habits I want to break. The good habits I want to build is to start eating healthy. I'm just giving an instance, all right? It can be anything that you consider a bad behavior, or a bad habit rather. All right, that's done. Then number two is write down all the things that you have lost, all the opportunities that you have missed because of the bad behavior, because of the bad habits. I keep saying bad behavior, bad habits. Okay, write down all the opportunities you've lost. Write down all the things you have missed because of the bad habits. It's important. All right, so all the negative effects of those bad habits, write them down. If you are someone who wants to break a bad habit, chances are that you have thoughts of the opportunities that you have missed, the things you have lost, the broken relationships with your spouse, with your children, with friends, the lack of self-esteem, how it had affected your confidence in yourself, the relationship with God that has been broken. You must have thought of the negative consequences of the bad habits or negative effects of those bad habits. So I want you to transfer those things in your brain to paper. I want you to put them on black and white, okay? Write them down, okay? So because of, for instance, unhealthy lifestyle, unhealthy dieting, sedentary lifestyle that I have led over a period of time, I now see that my cholesterol is high. The bad cholesterol is high. My blood sugar is high. I am now overweight, all right? Or I am now, obese. Actually, my blood pressure is high. Like all of the negative effects of the bad habits that you have engaged in. Write them down. For some of you, this is going to be the first reality check. Because by the time you see them, white, black on white rather, by the time you see them on paper, that will help to make you realize that, wow, there are so many things I have lost because of the bad habits that I've engaged in over a period of time. So let that shock come to you, all right? Let the long list of the things that you have missed, of broken relationships that you have had because of the bad behavior, bad, habits and all of that. Let that, jolt you a bit, okay? Right? Yeah. So you do that, write them, okay? So this is answering the question, permit me to say, why. In this video, we are going to see why, what, how, who. Okay? I should have said that at the beginning. But in this video, we are going to see why, what, how, and who. So writing the things that you have lost because of the bad habits actually answers the question, why. So why do I want to break these bad habits? Or these bad habits. Why do I want to break it? I want to break the bad habits because of this, all the things you have lost. This, and that. All right. Now, 2D. All right. The second point here still. Write down on another clean sheet of paper the things that you stand to gain. All right. When you replace the bad habits with a good one. So the things that you will gain by building good habits. All right? Those good habits that are there, the things that you will gain. So if, for instance, we are using the unhealthy eating, sedentary lifestyle, unhealthy lifestyle, for instance, we would say, okay, my blood sugar will be normalized. The bad cholesterol, will go down. It will be normal. My blood pressure will be normal again by the time I build good habits, right? The confidence, I will build confidence in myself by the time that my weight, becomes normal. Self-esteem will be there, and I will be healthy. I'll be healthy for myself, I'll be healthy for my family, I'll be healthy for my loved ones, I'll be able to live longer and all of that. So these are the good things that you stand, to gain by building good habits. All right, my relationship with God will be restored. I will be able to relate better with my wife, relate better with my kids, relate better with my friends. My social life will be back again. My career will take on a new turn. Like, there are benefits, all right, that you stand to gain. So why do you want to build a good habit? I want to build a good habit, or I want to build good habits because of this. Like, you just list all of them out. Why you have to do this is because of this. Your brain, right, over this period when you've been engaging in bad habits, your brain has built a certain pattern where whenever you engage in those bad habits, there is a reward that it gives to you. All right, whether temporary satisfaction, pleasure, relaxation, comfort, some peace that you experience because of that bad behavior. Now, you need to give your brain a reason why it should leave this place of comfort, this default mode of peace, of tranquility and relaxation, to a new one that it doesn't know how it's going to be, right? So you need to give your brain reasons why you should discard the old habits and build a new one. And those reasons are the gains, are the benefits of the good behavior, of the good, habits that you are trying to build. So write down all of those things, all right? Our brain loves rewards. So let's give our brain, some rewards, right? So this is why I need to build good habits. So that is the second one. The third thing that you need to do is now going to the question what, all right? The second point that we discussed, answer the question why you need to break the bad habits and why you need to build the good habits. The third one answers the question what. Now, what is this? 3A, identify the triggers, whether internal triggers or external triggers that make you engage in those bad habits. All right? Identify the triggers, the stimuli, the things that stimulates you, the things that trigger you to engage in the bad behavior. All right? What are those things? Identify them. Identify them. Sometimes they're easily identifiable. You can say, okay, for instance, that idleness is what is making me to be there, to be doing what I'm doing now, right? Or there is a certain picture on my phone that helps me to engage in this bad behavior. There are certain things that I see. There are certain sounds. There are some images in my room that trigger me to engage in that bad habit which I want to break. There are certain recordings on my phone. Is that person that I talk with, right, that makes me to go to do this bad thing that I don't like to do. So there must be a trigger, something that makes you to get to do that thing that you don't want to do, to engage in that bad behavior. All right. Sometimes there are triggers that are really intense and deep, right? Let's say, for instance, something like depression. That there are people who get into drugs, get into alcoholism, get into all kinds of, immoral behavior because of depression, right? Or because of some other disappointments and stuff that happened that then, over a period of time, resulted in depression, right? Now, there is need for you to look in on those triggers that you have written down and see the ones that should be removed. Because as long as those triggers are there, you will keep engaging in those bad habits. So write down the triggers. By the time you've written the triggers, look at the ones that should be removed. All right. I would say all of them, but I know that there may be some that might not be things that you can remove, but you can distance yourself from them. You can run away from them. And some actually that will require some professional help. However, look at the list that you have written. What are those triggers that you have identified, and remove them? So if it is an image, delete the image. An audio, remove the audio. Is someone that you speak with that leads you into that, cut the person off. Like, look at the things that lead you to bad behavior, to bad habits. I keep saying bad behavior. Yes, habit is a behavior as well. So that leads you to do those bad things, those engage in those bad habits. Look at the triggers. Look at the triggers, whatever they are, that's specific, and you know them. Think about them and remove them. Right? And remove them. Right? The Bible says that you cannot have fire, take fire into your bosom, and you will not be burnt. Right? As long as you have fire, fire has the ability to burn anything that you bring around it. Okay, if you bring a dry clothes, dry leaves, the fire will consume them. But when the fire is taken away, your clothes is preserved. Right? The leaves are preserved. So take away the triggers. Right? Okay. Still on that 3B now, I want you to identify what are the things that can trigger you to build the good behavior. What are the things? Apart from the benefits that you have listed that you will get when you engage in building the good habits, or when you have built the good habits, I want you to identify the triggers. What are certain things that when you see them, when you hear them, when you feel them, they will help you to build the good habits you want to build? All right. Like I told you, I'm telling you my personal experience. When I wanted to build the good habits, what I did was this. I saw that there are certain things that I listened to and they will motivate me to build those good habits. There are certain books that I will read and they will motivate me to build those good habits. There are certain pictures that I would see and they will motivate me to build the good habits. Let's say, for instance, if you're someone who wants to lose weight and have a healthy lifestyle and build a healthy body, it could be that watching videos of people who exercise themselves, whether in the gym or outdoors, who do things, will motivate you to do that. Have those things around. So identify the triggers. So I identified that there was a book that once I look at it, having read the book and I know the content. So having read the book and desiring to be like that person, it helps me. So I kept that book where I would see it. So each time I walked into my room, I would see that book positioned in a certain place. And looking at that book, it just reminds me of the things that I want to build, of who I want to become, of the habits that I want to build. And so it helped me to engage in them. If you see my MP3, right, I can't show you that here. You will see the things that I listen to, right? The kind of songs I listen to, the kind of discussions I listen to, the kind of messages I listen to, the kind of explanations and talks that I listen to. So when I listen to those audiobooks, commentaries, discussions, and things, when I listen to them, they remind me of the thing that I want to build. And so having that always in my ears when I'm going outside and all of that, it always helped me then that I was able to constantly listen to those things, and then I was building the good habits that I wanted to use to replace the old one. All right. So always do that. So identify those triggers and put them. And that thing that I did then was, if I don't know how to insert, okay, maybe I will insert the picture. If you saw my wall in those days, all right, in that 2017, 18, if you saw my wall, then you will see pictures of people that actually motivates me to build a good habit. So I went, downloaded their pictures, went to the printing press and printed their images and came to my wall and I placed it there. So whenever I came into my studio, right? I will always see them on the wall. And that was always a reminder that you need to build good habits to become more than these people that are on your wall. If you don't build those good habits, you cannot become like them. So that was a constant reminder, right? So that was a trigger for me. So if I were sleeping and then my alarm clock came at 5 o'clock to go and exercise, and then I open my eyes, I will always see those people there. And I will say, okay, I have to exercise. And then I will run out. All right. Change my ringtone of my phone then I had a very good ringtone on my phone. I will put that particular sound, that particular voice, those particular words that I wanted to hear. And so I will have that audio as my ringtone. So whenever I was going to bed at night, I'll put my phone on ring out. And then change the alarm, right? So once it was 5 o'clock, the sound that I will hear is not the usual alarm sound. I will hear the voice of that person, and once I hear that voice, it motivates me. Sometimes I had to record my own voice, all right, and tell myself, hey, you want to build these good habits. These are the things you want to build, and these are the gains there. You better wake up and get going, right? So I did that. And so whenever I listened to that, that was a trigger for me, and I had to stand up and go do the thing. So identify whatever the triggers will be for you, right? Identify what the triggers will be for you, and have those things installed, all right? Installed in your room, installed on your mobile devices, installed everywhere around you, so that they help to trigger you, right? If that they should be visible, or if there are things that are invisible, of course, they should be present. They should be around you. Okay. So number four is to stop thinking about the bad habits. I call it turn your brain off. Turn your brain off, like turn it off. A number of people spend days. Okay? A number of people spend days thinking about the bad habits. And days become weeks. Weeks become months. Months become years. Yet the bad habits is still there. The bad habits remain. And you might even pick up other bad ones along the way. You need to realize that the more you think about the bad habits, the more you reinforce them. What you think about, you reinforce. The more you think about them, like I told you in the beginning, the more you think of bad habits, it gets to a point where the bad is removed and your mind interprets them as habits. So habits, and they become normal for you. So you need to turn off your brain from thinking about those things. If not, you develop a mind where you begin to do the things that you dislike. What you should actually do is to turn on the lights. Okay, that is 4B. Stop thinking about the habits is 4A. Turn off your brain. Okay, now this is now answering the question how. All right, how? Stop thinking about the bad habits. 4B, turn on the lights and darkness will go away. Turn on the lights. If you woke up in the morning or you did a night shift and you returned to your house around 9, 10, outside, of course, when you were coming back, outside was good, sunny, probably. But inside your room is dark. When you open your door and you come into your room, you don't begin to shout and complain about the darkness. You're like, oh, this place is dark. It's too dark. What do I do? How is it dark? Oh, how do I drop my car keys? How do I get to my kitchen? How do I prepare something? And you don't do that. So what you just do is, because the place is dark, you reach out for the switch and you turn it on and current flows and the bulbs come on, right? The darkness goes out. You open your blinds, all right? The shutters, you raise them. throw your windows ajar, and sun rays just come in. The more the sun filters into your room, the more the darkness will run and begin to find corners where it will hide behind objects. And the extent to which you allow light to come in is the extent to which darkness goes away. So turn on the light and make the light to be so powerful, so intense that darkness goes away. I'm using light and darkness figuratively. Now, the darkness is the bad habits, all right? The light is the good habits. Don't focus on the bad habits. Focus on the good habits you are trying to build. And so, take all your attention on what do I want to build? That good habits that I want to build. Focus on that. What are the things I should be doing every day or hourly or every month or every week? Or what are the things I should be doing? What are those repetitions? Be laser focused on the things that you want to build, on the habits that you want to build, right? And leave the darkness, leave the bad habits, and focus on the good one. Discover ways that you can build these good habits, all right? The more your mind is focused on that, the more you will come up with ways to build the good habits. But the more you are focused on the bad habits, the more you'll be drawn to them. So leave them and focus on the good habits that you want to build. Just there, laser focused, concentrated, and doing the things that you have to do every day. So one of the things that helped me to do this was one of the times when I was reading the Bible and I discovered something. Okay, I didn't discover, it's actually there, all right? I saw something in Philippians chapter 4 from verse 8, and this scripture has been, like, since then is a mainstay for me for several things in life, and in the area of habits, right? It says, chapter 4 of Philippians from verse 8, it says, finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good reports, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things. Meditate on these things. Think about these things. Do these things. Sleep with these things. Wake up with these things. Instead of sleeping and thinking of, oh, I'm still doing this thing. I'm still repeating these bad habits. God help. No. Think of the good habits you want to build. Sleep with it. Wake up with it. So what I did was I focused on that good habit, that honest habit, that pure habit, that habit that is lovely, that habit that is of a good report, that is just. I just focused on it because it has virtue and it makes for praise. I just focused, laser focused on what I want to build, on what I want to build, on what I want to build, discovering ways, steps to take every day of my life to do that. All right? I reduced all the things I had to do into micro steps, little steps, and then I went ahead doing them. All right? And those micro steps I talked about is actually the next point. And that next point is this. The behavior that you want to build, all right? You don't just say, I flip the coin automatically, all right? You divide them into micro steps that you need to be taking, and on you begin to, you continue building them, all right? Okay, so turn on the lights and the darkness will go away. That is the rule. So that's number 4. Now, the fifth one is a point that I may come back to in my next videos, and that is to discover your purpose and pursue it. I see that some bad habits are there because someone has not yet discovered his purpose, and he's not actively pursuing it, or he has discovered it but he's not actively pursuing that purpose. And so the person just accumulates a lot of debts, a lot of things that are not really good, and those things sediment over time because he's not pursuing anything. So when you are wallowing in a maze of purposelessness, okay, when you are just going round and round without knowing your direction, it is easy for you to pick up all kinds of bad habits. But the time when you discover your purpose and you are pursuing that purpose, you see that some of these bad habits will just get out. All right. In one of my videos, I'm going to talk about how to discover purpose. But let me just, as a matter of summary, just say that the more you follow God, the more you serve God, the more He guides you and leads you to discover the purpose for which He created you and what your role in this world is. All right. He can do that through various means. He can do that through certain events that occur in your life, through people around you, through your parents, through your friends, or by Him even speaking expressly to you or speaking to you through the Bible. He has, various methods, or like my pastor will say, he has his mechanisms of, helping you to discover your purpose and then pursue it. All right. So when you discover your purpose and you are pursuing it, you'll see that some of the bad habits that you are worried about now, those things will just get out because you are actively pursuing something that brings you fulfillment and joy. Some of these things will just get out. All right. Now, number six is actually going to answer the question, who? All right. Who? Now, there are people that will help you in your journey of building new habits, in your journey of breaking the old one and replacing it with a new one. There are people that will help you in that. I know that when I tell people that there is need to do what the Bible says in terms of confess your faults one to another and pray one for another, some people are apprehensive, and I get that. Telling people about your secret faults is like you becoming naked before a stranger. It feels so uncomfortable. It feels weird, right? That you will undress before a stranger. I'm not asking you to do that. I'm not asking you to go before a stranger and then, then as you say, votare sacco, and then you empty all your dirty secrets and all your bad habits to the person. No, that's not what I'm saying. I want you to find people who are trustworthy, find people who are respectful, find people that you trust, who truly care, who truly love you, right? And confide in them about the habits that you want to break and the good ones you want to build. All right? And they have to be people who understand you. Apart from the fact that they love you, they care for you and all of that, they also have to be people who are thin. All right? Having an accountability partner is not just the love of, it's okay, sorry. No. An accountability partner is someone who understands you, who loves you, but is also firm on keeping you accountable on the things you've told him or told her. Right? And so you want to build a new habit, get someone that can keep you in check, someone that can keep you accountable, someone that will help you not to go back to the old habits, but that will always encourage you, always motivate you, always push you to go for that thing that you say that you want to build. That's an accountability partner. Someone who can also pray for you if it is something that requires, prayers as well. Someone that can also pray for you, who doesn't just listen to you and smiles and it goes that way. No. But someone who can go inside and say, God, please help this person. And then who will call on you always to, check up on you and make sure that you are doing what you said you have to do. So who? An accountability partner. Now, the second person that should be there is actually the first, but I placed it in this order, is this, God. Now, breaking a bad habit and building a new one takes courage, takes determination, takes discipline to do that, takes your willpower. But there are certain habits where your willpower can go to some extent, but wouldn't really be able to break those things. Okay? And that is where God comes in. So God helps you that where your willpower stops, where your determination, your discipline cannot pull you through, God pulls you through. I believe that God has the power, at least in my own case, all right? Over the years, I've seen it that God has the power to break certain patterns in your life and transform you. And the transformation is long lasting. It's not just something of rise and fall, rise and fall, rise and fall. Like He gives you the power to go and not repeat the bad habits anymore. You just see yourself gliding, right? So go to God, pray to Him, involve Him in your life, and ask Him to help you to break certain behaviors, certain patterns that have been there, all right, over the period. And some patterns actually are spiritual, okay? And so you need God to help you to break those patterns so that you will begin to build good behaviors and all of that. And let me say this, let me just add this caveat, because some people think, okay, I pray to God and then I don't have to do anything. No. Praying to God, praying to Jesus Christ to help you is not you becoming deresponsibilized. Permit me to say that, like not having any responsibility. It's like someone, you have a fire that is burning and then you place your hands over the flames and you're saying, God, help me. I don't want this fire to burn my hands. I don't want to have any problems, no injuries at all as I'm placing my hands on this fire. It wouldn't work. The fire will burn you and God will still remain God. All right? So what you have to do is that you take your hands off the fire and you try quenching it and you say, God, please help me. I want this fire to be quenched and I want it never to, be kindled again and all. Right? So God helps you, but that doesn't take away your responsibility. I just wanted to add that. So follow the steps that I have listed and also ask God to help you in your journey of breaking the old habits and replacing it with a good one. And then finally, persistence. Patience. Persistence. I repeat this in a number of my videos. Patience. Persistence. All right. And patience. All right? Patience, persistence, patience. Always. The old habits took some time to be built. The new habits will take some time to be built and consolidated. And so, repetition. You do some today, you do some tomorrow, every day, just keep coming back. Keep repeating the things. The more you repeat them, the more you form the habits. The more they get to your subconscious, right? The more they become recurrent. Without you even thinking about them, you just keep doing them. And you will see that before you know it, the old habit is gone and a new habit has replaced the old habits. All right? This has been quite a long video. And if you go to this point, thank you for sticking around, but I don't know if you watched it at once or not. I doubt you watched it, just straight. But if you take these steps, from my personal experience, I can guarantee that it will help you, all right, to break those old habits, and then you will be able to build a new one. So I pray that God is going to help you as you take these steps, and you will, in a matter of months, right, would have driven away that ugly, bad habits, and you have replaced that with a good one that is beautiful or handsome. All right. God bless you. If you love this video, do well to subscribe to my channel and check out my blog, and you will get some interesting articles there that will help you in your journey. God bless you and have a great time.